Warning, this video is not targeted to kids and may be inappropriate to younger audiences. Your discretion is advised. Hello, dudes and dudettes. It's your favorite Reject Gamer Mix17 here, and yeah, we are back on the loading screen. However, we've already completed all of the things, what are they called? Side missions. We completed the main campaign. So what is there next? Well, that's simple. The rest of the stuff that's around here. Now, Riddler's Revenge, I'm not going to bother even doing it. I mean, in the sense that I'm not going to bother doing it and recording it unless there's something really awesome that I did there, because really it's just a series of challenges that Riddler, quote unquote, brings up. It's basically just, you know, free fight in some degree. You can choose between Batman, Catwoman, Robin, and Nightwing. Still working on it. And there's campaign, which is basically a series of many of just these challenges, really, but each one has 3 levels, which vary between each thing. These ranked challenges, it's I think these are the fighting ones where you just straight up fight, and these ones are the predator ones, which you go through a room and you try to take down every single enemy. These ones is just extra ones, which I don't fully understand why they gave them their own separate thing, but that's whatever. The custom challenges, it's something else entirely different. I'm not going to even bother trying to explain that, but that's what that is. Harley Quinn's Revenge I will not be doing as of yet until I complete the other few things. Story Symphonous, whatever, is basically these little cut picture things that appear in between death or loading areas. Status, so yeah, options and credits. So nothing too crazy there. However, what is awesome is these 2 options, the concept art and the character trophies. So, to start off, I think we should begin with character trophies, because this thing has a huge list of characters. By my just eyeballing this whole thing, I'm assuming, I think it's 12 on each one, 12 by 5 being 60, plus another, what is that, 7? Yep, 7. So 67 character trophies, which is absolutely insane, I will admit. Now, I did a character trophy showcase last time in Batman Arkham Asylum, and basically it just shows all of these characters within many different types of poses. And yeah, this is Batman. I think I can zoom out. Nope, I could only zoom in. This is as far as I can go. Basically, yeah, you get a really good view at, well, everything. You see how Batman's costume looks when it was fixed. He has his grapple gun. No, that's his Batclaw, I think. In his left hand, and he's throwing a batarang, which I have to admit, that is highly impressive with how they end up getting this. back. But yes. And then next we have Azrael. Now, for any of those who don't remember who Azrael is, he is the mysterious figure that we found during the Wings in the Dark, I think, side mission, where we found him in 3 locations, or 4 locations, and he would stab the ground and revealing a weird looking symbol, for which we then go on the map and reveal his final location. Well, this is him. Well, he looks like a knight. Actually, because of the cross, he reminds me of Templar mixed with assassin. So, not going to continue on with that sentence. Anywho, you can clearly see that he tries to stick with what Batman has in a sense of protective gear, including the gauntlets here, but of course he has the addition of a sword. His pants look like pants, along with boots with stuff on it, with kneecaps, which reminds me of the funny little joke of, what's it called, hockey gear, or something like that, in Batman the Dark Knight, I think? I can't remember. Of course you can see his cape, which is actually just three on each side, but a total of 6 strands of cloth. And then this interesting device, which is hooked up, and what looks like the tubes go behind him. As for where they would go, I have no clue. It looks like he has some type of grenades, really. And yeah, he has a face plating mask, which, by the way, looks pretty awesome, and his hood. And I must admit, I really like this. It makes the whole outfit is worn, and it really looks as if this guy is ancient, but he's not. And of course the sword. Of course, there's definitely going to be something of very interest when it comes to Arkham Knight. And now, Mad Hatter Batman. This was, of course, another side quest that we see this in, and that was with Mad Hatter. As for the quest name, I can't remember. It was a short quest. It was a really short quest, actually, that I ended up doing. And it required me to take a fake cure, which I think was a hallucination, but that hallucination kind of lingers, so I don't know. But yes, from the looks of it, it's basically the same Batman. Only difference is it's with the mask, and it's mostly fused onto him, and that was during the hallucination. With the headpiece itself, it looks like as if it's been deformed on the top and elongated as well. The ears are, well, wacky, thin, and a little bit of an indentation now that I look at it. Of course, the mask seems to be fused on the top jaw, almost as if it's its own gums, with buck teeth. And I swear, now that I think about it, this guy actually looks Batman looks like it's a fusion between bat and a rabbit, which I think exactly was what they were going with because of the buck teeth. And wow, those are the whitest teeth I've ever seen. Robin. Now, we only seen Robin once in the entirety of the game, and sadly, he was just only a small little cameo. Robin was shown during the chase scene, or no, not during the chase scene, when Batman was jumped after chasing after one of the Leagues of Assassins, and he basically got jumped by one of them, I think. And then 2 other ones are showed, and Robin just appeared to save the day. I really like this design. I like the hood. I like the little cape. He definitely doesn't have a, well, short things like in the comics, showing off his legs, but instead he's showing off his arms a bit. I guess he's trying to impress the ladies. I really like the fact that the cape, because if I remember correctly, Robin's cape was never long. Not as long as Batman. Nowhere near long as Batman. But the hood is definitely an interesting take. Of course, you see his... people call it many things. They call it just a stick. Then there's a bow. Then there's a staff. They call it many things. And when I mean bow, I mean B-O. Bow. Let's see, he has a very interesting sense of when it comes to his boots and his gauntlets. Compared to Batman, he doesn't have the little things, I always forget what they're called, basically the 3 spikes that come out, which actually serve a purpose, keep in mind. And the boots look like normal boots, just with a strap on it for added protective gear. And other than that, it looks like as if he's just wearing a kind of semi-padded shirt. If not, it's just a very tight shirt, showing off all of his muscles, including his six pack. I can't say anything. I don't speak English. Oh, hey, hello, Gollum. Solomon Grundy. Background. Anywho, time for Bruce Wayne. Now, this is actually Bruce Wayne after he breaks free from the beginning of the game. When he gets pulled away by Penguin's thugs, and during the little fight scene, including during the scene where he climbs up Ace Chemicals' tiny building. I don't know what you would call that. It's not the actual factory, I know that for a fact. Why in the world would they have one in the center of the place? Then again, it's Arkham City, so whatever. Anywho, and the reason why I say that is because, for one thing, you can see his shackles, both on his legs and his wrists. And he has, let's not see his teeth, his button there, which he was wearing at the beginning of the game during his conference. He wears his suit, which looks like it's been dirtied, which, understandable, he has been ruffled up. And through this stance, he looks like as if he's in a battle stance. Although, what is up with that lip? It looks like... Huh. Oh, never mind. I thought they were injuries. I was going to say, it looks like he received some injuries because of his punching, I'm assuming? No, it might be just because of dirt. Maybe some bruising, which is a little interesting. Moving on to the next person, we have Catwoman. Catwoman was the first character we played in the entirety of the game because of the fact I had, you know, the Catwoman stories unlocked and stuff. On top of that, she appears in a few other parts throughout the game. She appears during the time when we try to save her, quote on saving from Two-Face during the first mission, which was at the courthouse. Next up, we have her own little missions, which is her going to her apartment, going to Poison Ivy, then breaking into the vault, and of course, ultimately being saved more towards the end of the game. Wait, what? No, let me phrase that. Her saving Batman more towards the end of the game. Now, Catwoman, of course, is by the name. She is a woman, and she is impersonating a cat, kind of like Batman, but very complicated story. She has her traditional claws, as you can clearly see, which is quite interesting, to be honest. Latex, spandex, leather suit. I don't know, honestly, what this thing is made out of. But what interests me is these small little pieces there on her arms. She has them, but what are they for? And the straps as well. Those I don't fully understand either. And why also the question is, how in the world does she get into the suit? This thing must be tight. I mean, just look at it. Other than that, though, she has semi knee high heels, which I am highly impressed the fact that she walks in these things and climbs and fights in these things. But you know what? Some ladies can do it, and they can pull it off just well. From the looks of it, it looks as if she tightens them through strands instead of straps. Wait, scratch that. No, straps as well. Those high heels are tall, which always makes me question every single time she stomps on someone. Does she kill them? Because those high heels would penetrate anything. So yeah, the suit, understandable. The open top part showing a little bit of cleavage, not that much. The collar, the cat and thing. Now the headgear, I am, well, intrigued, really. How in the world did she find anything like this, or did she handcraft it? Goggles are a nice touch, though. It definitely makes sense to have, in a sense of her cat vision, I think it's called, or no, thief vision. There we go. But that's about it. I'm also questioning now, how in the world does she hold on to everything else? I think it's because of the straps. Next up, Jim Gordon. Probably one of the worst looking characters I came across. Cause holy crap. I am sorry, Jim boy, Jimmy. Hey, I actually know a person named Jimmy. He's pretty cool though. Anywho. Yeah. Jim, look, Raincoat, understandable. He is the commissioner, so of course, with his fancy shoes and his fancy smanchy pants, and of course his shirt with a tie. I think he also has a vest underneath there. Wait, I think you could just barely see it, or it looks like they used the texture for the thing, or maybe he doesn't wear it. Whatever. Either ways, it looks like he has a fake badge pasted on his his raincoat. It's just like, give me the sticker. Slap that on my raincoat and I'm all set. Anywho, let's see. Police Department, City of Gotham. That's a pretty nice touch with the detail. But yeah, look, the body is fine. It's just the face. I don't know. From afar, he looks as if he's less detailed, but when you really go up close, you could see the detail that people put in. But I don't know. I think it could have been a little better, but whatever. It's not easy to make the faces, although they definitely did a pretty good job with the detail, especially the split hair. Man, imagine those. The poor dev team artists. What are they called? Programmers? And next up we have Mr. Freeze without his freezy suit. Now, this was only shown at one part of the game, and that was when we broke into the museum when Penguin took over the place. Reasoning behind it was, of course, trying to find the cure after Joker infected us with his own blood, which, again, I question that part because, well, AIDS is a thing. I'm not joking about that. I take that very seriously. That I question. But anywho, from the looks of it, Mr. Freeze has a very unique suit. For one thing, as we already know, Mr. Freeze was in a freak accident which ended up changing his DNA and his body structure to the point where he basically is bald, change of skin tone, and finally he of course cannot be within a specific room temperature, a specific temperature, or else he will die of what's called a heat stroke. And I'm not going to get into the medical science behind that. It did a pretty good job, I guess. Yeah, I mean, his pores kind of look big, but whatever. However, I understand that if he was ever out of his suit, Mr. Freeze would need to find some way to get around. But this is a little questionable. I mean, he has a whole back completely exposed. His head is exposed and his arms are. The only thing that's keeping him alive anywhere mostly is his legs because of his suit, which looks really amazing to be honest. And kind of comfortable. I wonder if they're like yoga pants. And this little device here that is punctured into his body, which I wonder how in the world... I mean, I know he's a doctor, but he's more of a cryogenic scientist than an actual doctor. So, at least I think so. Then again, there's been multiple iterations of him, and that kind of makes it confusing. Again, all these imprints all over his body, or unless these things are like those weird suction cups that they do to you in hospitals and stuff. Looks like whatever the fluid is, it powers and keeps his body cool enough for him to walk around and stuff. And wow, those are some flat feet. Then again, I do walk around barefoot, so whatever. But yeah, and he's holding a vial, which is never shown. And of course, he has black fingers, which normally should suggest that he is experiencing, I think it was hyperthermia, where his body is getting so cold to the point where the fingertips begin to lose, I think it's oxygen or it's blood. I think it's mostly blood, and the fingers become blackened. But for a man who has to be under sub-zero levels of temperature, I would doubt he would be able to reach a cold enough temperature for him to start experiencing hyperthermia. Heat stroke, most definitely. Hyperthermia, doubt it. So that's a little confusing. Next up, we have Mr. Freeze in his armor. We experience this guy quite a few times. We see him firsthand in the armor soon after we fight Penguin, and Mr. Freeze retrieves his suit. Now, a bit of the design pattern kind of sticks with the pants that he wears without his suit. However, this thing is absolutely insane. For one thing, this thing is pretty hefty, big armor. I agree with how thin he made it to be throughout the majority of his armor, except for the headpiece. The headpiece is, well, questionable. And I question how in the world he gets, what's it called? Condensation within his helmet when in all reality he shouldn't be receiving condensation since, well, he's Mr. Freeze. That thing shouldn't be having any condensation. Anywho, of course you can see his fuel system that keeps him cool and powers the suit along with it. Of course his futuristic technology gauntlet and stuff, which is absolutely amazing, I'm not gonna lie, and his ultimate freeze gun, which is absolutely terrifying and insane. Other than that though, this thing is pretty impressive, and of course the way that he did everything to have his suit adapt to so many fighting styles that we went up against with him is absolutely amazing. But of course, I question one other thing, and that is the goggles. I think they're a little bit on the tight spot, but you know what? That's all on him. Literally. Next up, we have Bane. Now, Bane has been seen since as Batman would put it, since he was on the hood of his car, back at the asylum. Now, the mission that Bane ever appears in is the Fragile Alliance side mission, where we destroy the Titan containers that is found throughout Arkham City after they were smuggled in, and yeah, that's about it. Other than that though, as you can clearly see, Bane has his exaggerated body shape and size, which, again, I always question how in the world this works with venom or steroids, because yes, I understand muscle growth, but to grow up to a giant and have giant bones would mean that he is basically growing at a cancerous level that is highly dangerous. But you know what, whatever, Resident Evil, I guess. You can clearly see he's still in his guard uniform, except it looks like as if he was burned on the feet. I think he still has his feet shackles, because those things around his feet serve no purpose whatsoever, except for maybe just aesthetic. His belt, I don't think his belt has a purpose either. I think it's just supposed to keep his pants up. As for everything else though, the big things implanted in his arms, and all of his gauntlets, and everything else basically, yeah, I question how in the world everything works. Now, as for up close to the face, yeah, I question everything about him. Although, I will admit, they definitely did a good touch on keeping up with a lot of details. Backing up, we have Black Mask. Now, Black Mask is shown in the game only once, and afterwards he's never seen again. Referenced, yes, in I think 3 or 4 different ways. I can't remember. But when he's seen is in the very beginning of the game, where Bruce Wayne is being transferred through the line, basically. I don't know if anyone remembers, but this was when I was going through that parallel line area, and we were stopped by Deadshot. When he said, "You're on my list," I think, and he basically made the hand gesture of shooting me. Well, just before that, right on the right side towards the wall, we can see Black Mask fighting with the prisoner guards with a chair. And yeah, this is his appearance. Normally he would wear a white suit, but yeah, it looks like as if he's wearing some pretty good looking shoes, I'm not gonna lie, with some what looks like typical jeans or pants. They don't really look like the thing that he would normally wear. Along with a rolled up, button up shirt, which is actually the style I usually keep up with. I do tend to roll my sleeve. Whatever. He wears, of course, his gloves and his traditional black mask, which, of course, is shown in Arkham Asylum. I think I made a video off that and showed it off. You can see some wear and tear and stuff with his hair sticking out. I wonder how the thing works. And of course he has his gun vest. And a big old gun on his hand. In his hand. So yeah, wouldn't normally look like an average Joe, maybe even a police officer with some gloves on, but then you see the face and you're like, that's not a police officer. Anywho, moving on. We have Clayface. Now, Clayface was technically shown throughout the game, but disguised as Joker, so it's complicated, but instead, Clayface was shown in the final battle in the end of the game, as is in his true form. He is giant, he is terrifying, and he is one complicated beast. And I still question the fighting mechanics that we did to him. Anywho, as you can clearly see, he is Clay. With some dried up parts, or dirty parts, I'm assuming. I want to say dried up because, well, since he's Clayface, he should be able to have complete control over the molecular structure of his body, which means the moisture within him as well, which allows him to keep up with the heavy attacks that he deals, including the sharp attacks that he also does, which also make a lot more sense when his minions start slicing me up. He is giant. He kind of is symmetrical to some degree. The only part that isn't really symmetrical is probably his left shoulder being, well, an abomination that looks like a tumor trying to pop out, or an eyeball. And then there's his face. He has black eyes, black eyeliner, and some really wood-like crooked teeth. And I guess that's his hair. I don't know. It's an interesting design, but nonetheless, always confusing. Next up, we have Deadshot. Of course, Deadshot is shown twice in the game. Once in the beginning, like I mentioned, with Black Mask. He was the man who would not get out of the way, and he made the gun gesture saying, "You're on my list." And he is also shown in the side mission called Shot in the Dark. Now, it looks like as if he's wearing his Arkham prison uniform, boots and all, just with a bandage wrapped around his knee for some reason. Gun holsters with guns, and of course his, his more guns, and his traditional wrist firearms, which is absolutely insane, and of course I learned the hard way that you can't deactivate them. Of course, with his face mask, I question why he would need the rest, but the goggle piece, I understand. The goggle piece. Aiming device, I think I should say, I understand, due to the fact that, well, it basically heightens his sense of sight from long range and close range. Other than that, interesting design. However, one thing I did notice just now is the fact that he has a torn sleeve? Torn sleeves? So, that's a little interesting and confusing at the same time. Anywho, next up we have Calendar Man. Oh boy. Calendar Man. Calendar Man can be shown all the time throughout the game after you gain access into the Batsuit. He's there even after the game. Basically, Counterman is not a side mission. He's not a main mission. He's more of just a random person that we come across in the court's house. He apparently has a broken leg, and I think if you do the what's it called? The bat? No, not the bats. The detective vision, I think. You can see his leg is actually broken. Now, it is interesting to say none the least because he is, of course, in, I think it doesn't even say. Well, he's in a prison outfit, of course, but how in the world did he get his leg broken? I don't know, because when I played this game a long time ago, I didn't actually read any of the storylines or anything like that. I just played the game and tried to do everything I could, but you know. So of course we'll be finding that out later on. But other than that, though, he looks like he's wearing some pretty thick boots. He has his shirt unbuttoned, probably because he can't really fit in it. And yeah, it looks like as if it's I mean, it has to be an Arkham City design. And on top of his head, those are not tattoos, as I originally thought. Those, I believe, are brandings. He basically, I'm assuming he branded his head with the months of the year. Because let's see, I see January, February, March, April, May. I think that says June, July, August, September. If the lighting back here was better, I probably could see October, November, and December. Yep. And wow, I just noticed how hairy he is. I think you need to get your stuff into shape, man. Anywho, moving on. Next up, we have Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is, of course, shown throughout the game as well. Her first appearance is within the church after Joker, quote-unquote, shoots into the courthouse at Catwoman. Now, she has a drastic appearance-wise, I don't know what the proper term is, from Arkham Asylum. I don't know if anyone remembers, but in Arkham Asylum, she was within her Harley Quinn nurse outfit. Not in like your actual traditional nurse, more like a, Harley Quinn version of a nurse. Here, however, she has a different outfit. It looks like as if she has leather pants with some over-the-knee high leather boots, high heels as well, which is again highly impressive how she moves across everywhere with that. Looks like she has some chains, a vest or a shirt, shirt and a vest, I'm assuming, some arm pieces, arm gloves, there we go, whole of it leather, and bracelets, 3 of them in total. Her collar, which in Arkham Asylum it actually says pudding or puddin', I can't remember. Instead, this one is just a leather collar, which must be kind of uncomfortable now I think about it. She has a tattoo, which is absolutely insane. Other than that, oh, never mind, she has multiple tattoos. I thought those were just something else, but whatever. Of course, she has her traditional makeup. Now, normally... No, I'm not going to say normally. It looks like as if her hairstyle may have changed color. I think it's only because of the fact that one of them was back in 2009, and this one's back in like 2011, I think. I can't remember. So it probably could just be the programming thing, or program detail, whatever. So that might make it appear darker. And of course, her bat, which, yeah, she used to knock us out, sadly. And then we probably got AIDS afterwards. Anywho, moving on past that. Hush. also known as Thomas Elliot, childhood friend of Bruce Wayne. Now, Thomas Elliot is shown 2 times throughout the game. The first time we encounter him was during the, or not during, but after we saved the hostages at the church. He is one of the medical team who supposedly, by said by the other medical assistant, doctor team, whatever, he just went crazy and he couldn't handle it and he went crazy and they didn't know anything about it until after they found him laughing with his face carved off by him and in the box. So yeah. Next time we see him is the side mission, the Identity Thief. Now, Hush has this type of what's it called? Uniform, and it is a very, very unique and yet interesting, confusing uniform, because how does this thing work? Sure, we have these awesome looking boots, which of course are heavily protected, something that looks like leather pants, that too close to the crotch, and then some type of weird sweater, padded leather sweater, along with some brass knuckled gloves, leather gloves, along with an awesome looking trench coat that reminds me of what's his face? John Constantine. But what's with the H? I don't think it's ever been confirmed that that he calls himself Hush. So, what's with the H? I have no clue. Bandages make sense, because, well, he's faceless. However, what is up with that? Whatever. Probably just a design flaw or something. Or just angle-wise making it look weird. Anywho, moving on. Now, it's time for the Clay Face Joker. And, wow! I gotta stop right here. This is awesome. Sure, it's not a mirrored appearance, but it sure as hell looks great. So, as we should be fully aware, during the game, we have technically 2 Jokers, quote unquote, on that whole sentence there, because we have Joker, who is sick, and then we have Clayface, who was pretending to be Joker, which was an awesome act, by the way, and absolutely amazing. And you could really see the difference between the two. This Joker is very, very similar to how Joker was back at the asylum. This Joker is the Joker we have for Arkham City. And they're both similar within clothes and design. However, this one is clean. This Joker, for some reason, looks like he let himself go because his suit is darker. The yellow is gone. It doesn't even look like yellow anymore. He still keeps his chain, I think, right? Yep, he still keeps his chain. He still keeps everything. It's just his suit is dirty. I was about to say, and I think even worn, but no, it's just dirty. It's more filthy than it was beforehand. However, I think, nope, his shoes are dirty as well. Oh, nice shoes, by the way. And the face, you can see the big difference. Oh boy. Joker, 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 Joker. You have let yourself down because of Titan. All because of Titan, Joker became, well, poisoned. His eyes are bloodshot, his veins are popping out, his skin is peeling and boiling, and his hair, it looks like he has, never mind, I was going to say, it looks like he has partial baldness, but no, it looks like he grew more hair than he lost. Anywho, moving on past that, doesn't look like he's been taking care of much of himself as of lately, which I question why that is. I guess hygiene's just not that important to Joker, even though he looks awesome. Alright, anywho, moving on. We have Sick Joker, which of course we've just seen, but, you know, Sick Joker. He still tries to keep up with his gags, his appearance in the sense of he tries to put up his threatening appearance. He tries to keep up his act, but as we all are well aware, he is, well, dead now. Of course, there's a different color design for some reason, different shading with this Joker for some reason. Killer Croc. Now, oh boy, that was a drop in. For a second, that was a drop in texture. Anywho, moving on past that. Killer Croc is only seen once throughout the game, and other than that, he's only ever seen once. And if you miss your opportunity, you miss him forever. Anywho, Killer Croc is referenced many times throughout the game. People say that they lost someone, a friend of theirs or whatever, and they think Killer Croc has got it, or they know that Croc is inside the sewers, and so on and forth. Well, we only see Croc once in the game, and that is after we fight Ra's al Ghul. Now, Croc last time was seen at the asylum in the underwater sewers. Now, it's interesting because I don't remember if I showed it or not, but last time we see Croc, for one thing, he fell into a bottomless pit, as of what it looks like. But for another thing, Croc at the end of Arkham Asylum, at like the very end, after the credits, is shown to be outside of the prison in the actual lake, ocean, whatever surrounds Gotham and Arkham Asylum, basically grabbing a hold of a tie-in container, and that's it. That's the last time we ever see him. He hasn't changed much since then. Maybe some design choices changed here and there. Other than that, though, it looks like as if he has below the knee pants, which doesn't make sense because, well, he comes out of water. Technically, this thing should have lost its color a long time ago. His so-called belt is just rope, and his braces are wrist guards, whatever you call them, seem to be still on. However, yeah, he still looks terrifying. I would not want to mess with him, ever. Moving on past that, we have Mad Hatter, or something Jarvis. I can't remember, or Jarvis something. I can't remember. So yeah, the Mad Hatter is a complete lunatic who does not have a uniform. In the sense of the guards prisoner uniform. Instead, he has some interesting footwear, which reminds me of someone that I can't remember at the moment. Knee padded pants, which reminds me of a leprechaun. Oh no, it's not pants, slacks, keep in mind. A vest with a shirt behind it, and a bow tie, which does not look like that would work. Wait, no, that's just a vest. He's shirtless under that. It's just a vest, and he has a fake bow tie around. Okay. That's not creepy at all. His so-called trench coat looks like as if it's, for one thing, made out of leather, but for another thing, stitched up together in his own creation. That smile is weird. Reminds, why can't I remember the name right now? Jack, no. Crap, I can't remember. Damn it. The Joker from, the Joker from the movie Batman in, 1989. It was played by Jack Nicholas. Crap, hold on. Why can't I remember the name? He's, such an amazing actor. Oh, god dang it. I'll probably just put in, a little text on the bottom of the screen or something saying the name. Anywho, and of course on his hats it says in this style 10/6, which is what's it called? It has sticked with a lot of other games and comics and stuff. I can't remember about one game though in particular, but whatever. Other than that, he has gloves, long hair, which reminds me of someone else. And of course, as we're fully aware, the hat is actually has a mind control device within it. So, hooray for that. Moving on, because I just made an embarrassment out of myself up there. We have Zsasz. Victor Zsasz comes out in the game as, of course, Victor Zsasz, but no, scratch that. He only appears once throughout the whole game, and that is during the thing. What's the thing called? The Code Caller payphone. No, wait. The Code Call Killer. There we go. That's the thing. I was trying to remember for the life of me. The Code Call Killer side mission. Oh dear God. And yeah. He's still in his Arkham Asylum prison outfit. He still has the shackles, which these locks don't make sense at all. I mean, this one, oh whoops, this one around his neck, maybe. The arms, not so much. It looks like his shackles behind him and on his wrists are broken. I'm surprised he didn't put one on his feet. He looks like he's wearing some really worn boots. For one thing, he was a lame fight. I thought it would be awesome, at least, but nope. Other than that, though, he didn't really change much. It looks like he got more dirty. He still has the scars and a tattoo. So, yeah. That's all I can say. Alright, moving on. I just noticed the lock was actually rusty. Next up, we have Penguin. Now, Penguin is shown a few times in the game. He is shown in the beginning, where he kidnaps us, and then he's shown during the break-in of the museum when we try to free Mr. Freeze. Now, Penguin keeps up with his attire, such as his fancy clothes and stuff, because, well, he is rich and he's a mob boss. He tries to keep up with his appearance. His stature is short. He's a little bit on the hefty side. He's bald. He's got a cigar. And, of course, the one thing that always confused me, even when I was little, is at first, when I was little, I thought this was a monocle, because Penguin traditionally has a monocle. However, it wasn't until afterwards that I actually saw a good look at it. It didn't look like a monocle. It wasn't until recently, before I got the game again and played it and stuff, I ended up finding out it is in fact the bottom end of a glass bottle. Now, I can't remember for the life of me what the story is behind this. My own theory that I kept thinking about was, oh, maybe it was Victor Zsasz, because I remember during the mission he got thrown out, but he said it himself that, or in some degree, he wasn't the one. He did it, I think. So yeah, and then I thought maybe it was Harvey, because, well, Harvey and Penguin go against each other, and I thought maybe it's Mr. Freeze, but that seems a little bit barbaric even for him. So I don't know, maybe we'll find out in the story. The whatever thing's called. Next up, we got Poison Ivy. Man, I just realized how much we got more left. Now, Poison Ivy had a semi-drastic change compared to Arkham Asylum. In Arkham Asylum, Poison Ivy was a little bit on the darker side, in the color scheme at least. In this game, her tone of color, the shade of green, brightened. It looks like she still kept her uniform. They were looking. I can't remember the exact story, but you want whatever. Anywho, as I was trying to say, she still keeps up with quite a bit of the aesthetic, and the hair looks a little stiff, to be honest. But yeah, other than that though, they kept the majority of her the same. Wait, does she have painted toenails? She does. Okay, well, that's an interesting detail to find. Next up, we have Ra's al Ghul. Now, Ra's al Ghul is shown twice throughout the game. That was during the Demon Trials and during the just before Wonder Tower was exploded. And yeah, he goes out with Bang, and not really goes out with Bang. He mostly falls. First he steps up, then he falls on a spike on a gated fence. So yeah. Anywho, moving on past that. He of course has this awesome sword. As the I think it's the master or the leader of the League of Assassins. He has pretty impressive protective gear along his chest, some braces as well, but exposed bicep area or upper arm area. There we go. Shoulders are protected, and it looks like pretty well function as well. A little bit below. The pants look like they might be leather, which if they are, they could be a tough leather, which is still pretty good, not to say the least. It'll just keep him protected from quite a few things. Boots protected and stuff, but yeah. Other than that though, they definitely kept the awesome appearance that they had for the comics for Ra's al Ghul when it came to his hairstyle. However, I just noticed he looks as if he's like super tired with the yellow eyes. So yeah. Anywho, now then, I have gone for this long already, and I want to check something before I continue onward. So give me a moment. Alright, well, so it appears that I am, how would you say, currently about a little over 52 minutes in, and I've only gone through 2 rows of the character trophies. So, in order to avoid, well, going overtime and stuff, this is where I'm going to have to stop the episode. So, yeah, sorry everyone, or anyone who even bothered caring about this, but yes, this is where I have to stop, and then I will be continuing on with the Riddler in the next showcase. And probably continue on for the next 2 rows. Oh well. Thank you everyone, and I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.